Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we are looking at the architecture of eternal grief. We're completely ditching the dry dates and dusty historical records today, and instead, we're plunging right into something deeply, profoundly human. Imagine the most devastating emotion possible, and then literally transforming it into physical beauty. That's exactly what happened when the Mughal emperor Shah Jahan lost his favorite wife, Mumtaz Mahal. You see, it wasn't just a personal tragedy. It sparked this massive, unbelievable undertaking that took over 2 decades and 20,000 artisans to complete. We're going to explore how a heart-shattering loss was meticulously engineered into an absolute wonder of the world. Imagine having the power to carve your deepest sorrow into solid stone. Well, let's jump in. You are Shah Jahan, and love has just been taken from you. Take a second and let that really sink in. To actually grasp the history we're exploring today, you kind of have to put yourself right in his shoes. Just imagine losing the one person who made, well, absolutely everything in your life mean something. Your confidant on military campaigns, the partner whose advice you trusted above literally everyone else. This love was deep, it was real, it was completely unshaken. And then she's just gone? The emotional crash here, it's absolutely devastating. It's the kind of complete loss that fundamentally rewrites your reality, stripping away everything you thought you knew about your world. And there's this really sharp, almost cruel contradiction happening here. Look at this comparison. On one hand, you're the most powerful man in the empire. You rule the vast, ridiculously wealthy Mughal empire. You have absolute, unchecked authority and a totally cemented legacy. But on the other hand, you are completely powerless because despite commanding endless armies and having all that wealth, none of it matters in the face of death. None of it. When love is taken from you like that, you're instantly stripped of control. You're brought right to your knees, entirely equal to the poorest person in your kingdom, against the harsh reality of mortality. All the resources in the world couldn't buy back a single breath. So the struggle that follows is just paralyzing. The silence she left behind is louder than any battlefield. This isn't just everyday sadness, It's this overwhelming, deafening void. Think about it. Shah Jahan was a guy used to the massive noise of absolute power, the booming commands, the marching armies, the constant hustle of a vast, vibrant empire. But the absence of this one specific person creates a silence so heavy, so absolute, it just swallows everything else. You can almost feel the ringing in the ears of a man who suddenly finds his glittering world completely empty, totally devoid of its central gravity. Faced with that impossible silence, this monumental historical choice pops up. Do you bury your love, or do you build it? For most of us, right, when we go through profound loss, we mourn quietly, and eventually we just kind of carry that buried weight around as we try to move forward. But Shah Jahan, he says no. He absolutely refuses to bury it. He decides to manifest this massive emotional weight into something purely physical, something the entire world is literally going to be forced to look at. He makes this conscious, deliberate, totally unprecedented choice to build it. And wow, here is the astonishing result of that choice. Grief turned to symmetry and marble. This isn't just some famous tourist spot. This is the literal turning point where a refusal to just move on becomes physical architecture. He took the chaotic, messy, devastating feeling of grief and forced it into perfect symmetry. He took this fragile emotion and rendered it in solid, unyielding white marble. And the material wasn't an accident either. He specifically chose this translucent, luminous stone that actually changes color with the shifting sun, perfectly reflecting the changing moods of the man who ordered it built. It's the physical embodiment of a love that fiercely, stubbornly refused to be forgotten. Now, capturing eternal echoes, turning grief into eternity, is such a fascinating concept. And when you look at different artistic interpretations, you can really see how that eternity echoes through time. Take a softer, tranquil vision with blooming lotus flowers, for example. It's like a peaceful dream born straight out of sorrow. Then contrast that with a classic watercolor with warm, sepia tones that gives it this timeless, aged feel. Artists separated by style and medium are capturing the exact same echo. One man's grief was so powerfully and immaculately constructed that it's still inspiring these beautiful reflections across completely different generations and cultures. So let's break this down. Deconstructing the creation gives us this incredible blueprint. First, there's the refusal to bury love, just an absolute, flat-out denial of letting death be the final chapter. Second, grief turned to symmetry, taking the totally uncontrollable, unpredictable nature of human sorrow and forcing it into a state of perfect, harmonious balance. Third, grief turned to marble, cementing an invisible feeling into the physical world with materials meant to last for centuries. And finally, grief turned to eternity. We aren't just analyzing a monument here. We are practically experiencing what it feels like to meticulously transform absolute loss into an eternal masterpiece that actually outlasts the empire itself. If grief can be turned into eternity, what will your legacy be? We've seen how the most powerful man in an empire, a guy rendered totally powerless by the loud silence of loss, chose to build his love instead of burying it. He turned his pain into symmetry, into brilliant white marble, and literally into a tangible eternity. It is just a staggering testament to the power of human emotion and how it can literally shape the physical world around us forever. So as we wrap up this explainer and you take in the breathtaking reality of this magnificent structure, I want to leave you with a final thought to ponder. If a grief this profound can be quite literally built into eternity, what will your legacy be?